we were all so in awe of Anna. I mean, the entire cast was talking about it, and so was the crew. It was such like I mean, your performance is outstanding, but being able to watch it as an actress and say, wow, I hope that one day I can, do something that amazing and have that much, strength to keep going. And I can't imagine how intense it was, but it was beautiful to watch.
We were talking earlier backstage. How is launch day for you guys?
Crazy.
Exciting. Yeah.
This is the place to do it.
Right.
New York City for one, New York Comic Con for two.
Yeah.
Because the one thing about New York Comic Con, as an actor, you don't go to meet fans there. You go to meet journalists. It's too big to meet the fans. Little cons are great for meeting fans and signing crap. You come to here, you want to meet journalists, not fans, with all due respect.
Yeah. But the fans do show up for your panel. They were there for you guys yesterday, right?
They were.
Oh my gosh, they were there and they
Yeah.
loved it. It was so exciting to hear people responding, and I love my character so much, but every time I play someone like that, I'm always like, how is she going to be received, you
Right.
know? And they seem to receive her really well, so I was really, really proud and excited.
And Chiara, I think you have that probably the same situation with this character, because in the first episode, what we meet is really just the surface of this character.
Yeah, I mean, I love Jordy. And from the first time that I read her, I loved her. But I think that just like human beings, there's a lot more going on kind of beneath the surface. So at least for me, the more I got to know her, the more I loved her. But that tough exterior can be scary to people who don't know her that well.
And you can see all 8 episodes today.
Yes, all streaming right now.
Right now.
And Bruce, this is something that we talked about this as well, is this is really the first time we've seen you playing the straight man. This is an actual heroic.
You haven't seen all of my work.
Yeah, well, this is most of it, but this is the first time that you're not doing wisecracks. You're not pour some sugar.
I
on me.
did a TV movie called Gold Rush with Alyssa Milano. There was no wisecracking in that at all.
Okay, and you also did a Hallmark movie.
Two Hallmark movies.
Yes.
Zero cracking jokes. Zero winking at the camera.
But this is a heroic, normal person.
Normal. I like that.
How did
Yes.
you? Yeah. How did it feel playing this guy who wasn't?
It feels good to want to play a cop that you want to have. I want to be the cop that I want in my neighborhood. I want my chief of police to be that guy, not the current chief of police that I have. We can't pick our chief of police, but I can pick him in a fake life.
Yeah.
So I'm going to pick. I like this guy, and mostly he can talk to teenagers without being a dick, and he's willing to listen, and he's a skeptic, which is helpful, at least in the beginning. Doesn't do him a world of good later.
I feel like
but,
he's also in a first for you. He's logical. This is a guy who actually thinks
he's logical.
before he acts.
Because look, he's a cop. Where's the evidence?
Yeah.
Where's the fingerprints? Where's the body? If you don't have that, it's all conjecture.
Yeah. And as opposed to Tracy, who is going all on faith, really.
Oh, absolutely. I mean, she's definitely clinging to religion. And as you'll see throughout the course of the season, that you understand why she is doing this. And I believe that she's using religion as a tool for protection, actually. The hair, the buttoned up things, the glasses, it's all sort of a protective armor, because I think you'll learn that she's actually carrying a lot of shame for who she really is underneath this sort of quote unquote perfect religious exterior.
Yeah. Let's talk about the whole job part of it all. Signing on to any series is a big commitment, because it is a time commitment. This was filmed somewhere else where where none of you live. What was it about this project that made you think, okay, this is worth the time and effort and time away from my families?
I mean, for me at least, I think the first time, as I said, when I was reading Jordy and I was getting to know the show and the material, it's always a big undertaking to agree to be a part of something and also to live up to this idea that the creator has made. And Matt Scott Kane, our showrunner, is so awesome. But I think that the show has a lot to it. There's a lot of layers, and it was also like something that I'd never done before. And I love music. I've always loved music, and I've never gotten the opportunity to sing in anything I've ever done. And obviously this isn't like the normal, the singing that you'd expect maybe from me, right. But it was amazing, and I like completely did a heavy metal deep dive and learned so much about heavy metal history, and I got to play the bass. It was an honor. And
quick question, are you now a Satan worshiper?
Good question.
Well, if you make it to episode 8, then maybe we can talk about it.
Whoa!
Yeah. And it was you singing, which was very, very cool.
It was me singing.
Yeah. And if you haven't seen, if you have to get to episode 8 to really hear her let loose. Like, they have the number, and the way that finale moment is shot is a great showcase for you.
Yeah, I mean, there was a lot of training that went into it. I definitely was not like prepared when I arrived to begin the process, but they put us through like an 8-week band camp. So it was me and Kazai and MJ, who's Dylan and Spud, and we basically sat for 5 hours a day and played instruments and sang and like recorded different music and came up with different songs, and it was kind of like being in a real band. So I think we all kind of grew together over the course of the season, and learning instruments is really hard, and the boys like killed it. I mean, MJ's still playing the guitar today, so yeah.
Okay, and Anna, what about you? What convinced you on the page, like, this is...
Gosh, I mean, the writing was so good. Obviously, you sign on for just after reading one script. And I just felt like after I talked to Matt Scott Kane, our creator, there is something so magical about the elements of this show combined. So you have a horror, you have thriller, you have mystery, you have the 80s, you have also some comedic elements, the music obviously, but then this undertone of like generational trauma and the different relationships between like Julie's character and her son MJ, and then my character with Faith you get to see, and then there's the part where you get to see my parents, there's like a flashback. So there's a lot of really beautiful elements that the show combined that I just thought, like, I've never seen that before, and I would love to be a part of this.
Bruce?
Writing.
Yeah, was it?
As an actor, you can get duped by all kinds of stuff. This director, he's a shooter. He's a real shooter. You should work with that guy. He's a shooter. You shoot yourself in the foot. That's what shooters do. If it's, I don't know. It's a weird thing. I'm very grateful for every shitty movie I've ever done, because now I know, and I can smell them coming a mile away. And usually it's, and we've talked about this amongst ourselves, is that if you see a page of dialogue and you can interchange those lines of dialogue with any other character, that's lazy, bad writing, and they do it all the time. Jenkins hasn't had a line in a couple of scenes. Let him explain the explosion at the hospital. Yeah, why not? Why not, Jenkins? Yeah, good. Then they'll give it to him. So this, no one was interchangeable in this. The characters were very clearly defined. It wasn't really put on us to have to do that, but I give us all credit. We then took it and made it our own, because in a TV show, you got to do that. You're in it for the long haul. The writers got to pay attention to you, and they got to service you. Because you're working together. They
especially,
do.
Right,
Well
especially as the story develops, as it's playing out, these characters, you start to take ownership for the characters, and if the story takes them into a place where you're like, this doesn't seem organic for them, and it was very interesting to watch how some of these characters do some things where I'm like, what is happening here? And then you find out, like, oh, I was being duped. I was being duped. Like, good on them.
Yeah. Hey, what's great about this show, they always tell us no spoilers, no spoilers. I couldn't spoil this show if I tried. Someone asked me what this show is about. I don't think I could tell you.
Yeah. Well, that's
so it's good. They keep us in the dark too. Like, what the hell's going on here?
This was like Anna was saying. This is a show that, like, on the surface could have been, a spoof, a satire of, teen rebellion versus...
Or just gory.
Yeah, or just gory. And what we get into really is also not just that family trauma, but also that suburban sort of competitive, situation amongst the mothers, the families, the, not with my kid kind of thing. And also, and it was something that I didn't realize until after I saw the finale, was it definitely makes you wonder how much some of them believed all along what was going on.
Right. Oh,
Yeah.
yeah. No. It definitely makes you question, who's believing what and
Right.
how much is actually happening. What exactly is real?
Yeah.
Or is this in everyone's minds because of the mass hysteria that's going on? So it's kind of left up into your own interpretation when you watch the series, which
And
is
it's
cool.
very interesting with these two characters also, especially the dinner table scene, which was so great, was you guys are like the flip side of each other's character.
Yes.
Like she wears all of her stuff outside,
Yeah.
but inside has this softness and this need, and your stuff is all inside.
Inside, she's Satan. Yeah.
Exactly.
No, inside she's suffering. Excuse me. No, but great point though. Great point, because I was asked yesterday, which character would you want to play other than your own if you could choose? And I definitely said Jordy, because I see these kids, I call you kids, you're not kids, but you've got this amazing wardrobe and you guys get to be so free and you get to play music in the band and I'm like going to set and I've got this like character that is like very walking this intense straight line. So I'm just living through you guys, like watching you play in the band and stuff. It's been really fun.
And it totally makes sense why she would try to protect Faith from becoming this person who represents everything that she doesn't get to be.
Right. Oh, yeah.
And then Bruce, it was one of my favorite scenes is you and Spud out in the woods.
He's a good actor.
Yeah.
He pops, as they say.
Ah, okay. Is
he
that
has
what
a
they're
great-
saying on the TikTok?
It's what the kids say on TikTok, on the interwebs.
Yeah.
He has a really nice quality.
Yeah.
I feel most of the actors on the show, they did a good job casting it.
And
You got a good array of faces and types.
Right.
And
Very different types. And also a really great blend of telling the kids' side of the story and the parents, but then also intersecting them. But did you guys feel like you were working on a different show when you found out, like when you watched and you saw what the kids were getting into?
I was just gonna say, over the course of the season, the days that I wasn't on set with MJ and Kazai were weird. Like, it was bizarre to me because I got so comfortable with the band dynamic and being with the boys, and we were kind of in our own little universe. Everything we did was about the music and the camaraderie and this very specific friend group. And then I'd, pop in on a day that I wasn't working, or I'd have a scene with another, actor in the show, which was obviously amazing. But arriving and going into the Campbell home or going into the Whitehead home, I'm like, where am I? I'm like, what is this? Which is probably the way that Jordy felt in that environment as well, because it was so far removed from my life within the show. And yeah, Jordy has such a tough exterior, and I think, like circling back to what you were originally asking me as to why I was gravitated towards it. I think I can relate to people seeing me one way and feeling like there's so much else going on.
Right.
There's more dimensions to being human, and I think the initial interpretation that Tracy has of Jordy is it's short-sighted.
Yeah.
It doesn't, really fully reflect her as a human being. So I think you're kind of going back and forth with that balance.
as a thespian, you have to confront that as well.
Yeah.
Am I a funny actor, serious actor, action actor, a theater actor, commercial actor? What do I do?
Yeah.
Do I have a clothing line, a shaving line, a tequila line?
So many.
D, all of the above.
Yeah, what is it? The fucking tequila? Just act. Just shut up and act. Oh my God.
Don't you miss the days?
George Clooney. No wonder we never see the guy.
Right. He's always
He
making
sold it for
coffee
a fucking
commercials in Italy.
for $1 billion.
He needs to pay his mortgages.
I know. I miss the days where it was just like Jacqueline Smith was doing some clothes for Kmart. And now, Anna, your character, how did you kind of reconcile playing a character who clearly thinks that she is doing the right things by doing the wrong things?
So it's as the actor, I never make a judgment on my character. I never look at the fact that they are doing the wrong thing. Tracy is doing the right thing, and she's doing the only thing she knows how to do. Also, because her parents, you get to see she's not who she was today without the way they treated her. So she's surviving, and I think that she is also a little bit delusional. But I do think that she's like hurting, but she's in pain. She's in a lot of pain personally. That's how I look at her, though. I really, really do. And so
Because this is not a malicious plan that she has.
no, not at all. And in the end, she does want to do everything she can to save her daughter.
Right. Talking about the effects on the show, because there's not a ton of special effects, but some. How was that? What was the imagery they showed you that you would be seeing?
Oh, of the yeah. So I got to see like a mock-up.
Okay.
So that's all. But so when we were acting on the day, like of course nothing is there, like a piece of tape.
It wasn't even like a guy with like two balls. Like,
No. I think somebody drew like a little face on the tape, and I was actually like, can I not have that smiley face?
By the way,
can I just have the tape?
By the way, when Marvel calls you all, just say no. And you go, are you crazy? Say no to a Marvel movie? Yeah, because you're going to be on a big green stage with little marks up on the wall. Yeah. There it is. There's the Death Star. It's blowing up right now.
That's the hardest thing to do,
I would be
though.
so embarrassed.
It's to act with
How do you
only
react
a
to a
green screen.
fucking Death Star?
It's really hard.
Is that big
really
enough?
Hard.
Was that big enough? I don't know. I think it should be a little bigger. It is
why
a
they
Death
pay
Star.
those people all that money.
Can I see a picture of the Death Star? Well, here's a rendering.
So,
it's a guy with a cigarette and a light holding it back there. There's the Death Star.
By the way, this is advice from someone whose first two movies actually were part of the Satanic Panic situation. Because
we were a video nasty.
Yeah, you were a video nasty.
We were called a video nasty.
Your movie that was banned in some countries.
Banned in 6 countries.
And all practical effects.
Oh yeah. Well, we didn't have any money for anything else.
Yeah.
And we weren't George Lucas going back to fix our shit when we're rich. Fight with the army you got, George.
Fight with you.
I'm not shitting you. That's a ripoff, man. Rich guy sitting around going, I blew that effect. Hey, Ken, fix it.
Right. And now you just
give me a latte and fix that.
And so with this one, it's interesting because of what was going on in that time. And the funny thing is, like, the show creator is too young to even remembered. Like, I don't think he was even alive when the PMRC started.
He wasn't. Yeah.
Yeah. So, and did you guys have to explain to her what a rotary phone was?
So a rotary phone is...
Yeah, so they didn't do their jobs. They didn't tell me what a rotary phone... No, I'm kidding.
I showed him how to smoke a cigarette.
Good boy. Yeah. Good job. Yeah. But you had a lot of practical effects, obviously, aside, you had the visual, but you do have, like, the set. You have all of these great immersive spaces to work in, and also the styling. And for you guys, I mean, we've already talked about your look, but how was it for you? Did that, how hard is it to maintain the Farrah flip?
Not that hard. Once you get an entire can of Aquanet on that wig, it is not budging all day long. And then by the end of the day, I would like rip it off my head and like take my hair down. I was like, oh my God, I feel so free. You get a wig headache.
Yeah.
I would always be like, does anybody need Advil? My like head is killing me. But it was such a transformative piece of costuming, and it just like informed my entire character. The first time that Katie Ballard, our wonderful wig designer, put it on my head, I just felt like everything came into place. And it's such a gift as an actor to get to have that.
And speaking of other gifts that you guys got as actors, I want to talk about some of the other cast members because you've already talked about MJ and Kazai. Nikki Hahn, who plays your daughter Faith, is so good.
She's amazing.
So good. And Julie Bowen, like, I don't think people are expecting what she ends up delivering, especially by the end of the show. You guys have a sequence, and it's interesting how it all plays out, where you're doing the heroic stuff. You're the one like doing you're the one amping up like the physical tension of where we're going, and then we have the spiritual battle. The level of intensity that you had to maintain for that final church sequence. How long did that take, and how exhausting was that?
We shot that over, I think, a full week or more.
Oh my God.
Yeah, so it was like giant speeches. I had giant speeches, but then Julie is also going through what she's going through. And our director of that episode, Jordan, he is a very passionate, intense director and has a very specific, incredible vision. And so we would be doing things over and over and over. And to keep that level, it was truly incredibly mind-numbing at times and exhausting.
I will say this. Beware scenes like that. with all due respect to that scene and to the writers, that scene should have never been allowed to be shot as it was. And I'm saying this to help inform you here today. That was at least a 6-page scene, maybe more, with 15 characters that had numbers on them, not extras. Like Code, Joe, Ken, the mayor. You know, every single person that had a name was in that. So do the math. You got 6 pages times 15 characters. How many angles do you need to capture everybody saying every line from 6 pages?
I had to say that
I got to get a close-up of
50
you
times.
15 people in 3 different positions. You're here first, you're over there first, you're running up the stairs later. Nightmare.
I have to say, as someone who was watching that scene kind of unfold, I didn't have too much to do, but we were all so in awe of Anna. I mean, the entire cast was talking about it, and so was the crew. It was such like I mean, your performance is outstanding, but being able to watch it as an actress and say, wow, I hope that one day I can, do something that amazing and have that much, strength to keep going. And I can't imagine how intense it was, but it was beautiful to watch.
Yeah. I was honestly, I was like, the level of passion and intensity and just focus that you had to keep on Julie was just, I was like, oh my God, she must have had such a migraine.
I mean, the fact that Julie is so game also and that we get along so well was really helpful, because when you have to be so like conflicting characters to really like get along with the person and look at them and go, do you trust me? Okay, and I trust you. Let's do this so we can just shoot it and like be done with it. You know what I mean? Because it's really difficult. And I remember I just like took my sides and I just like threw them in the freaking trash when I was done. And I was like, was the camera rolling? Please, God, tell me that you got that. Because it was exhausting. Yeah. Sometimes I rip them up and I'm like, I never want to see that again. But yes, I hope it was worth it, and I hope that you guys all love the finale, because it was a really labor of love for I think the whole team.
Yeah, and it ends differently than I expected it was going to end, and that was something like I'm not spoiling anything, but as actors, you film the first season of a show, you don't know what the second season is going to be, if it even exists. How is it when you're filming those final scenes that are sort of vague, they leave things unresolved? How is it for you as actors doing that, knowing like we may never answer this?
Oh, sad. That makes me feel so sad.
Meaning if they don't have a second season?
Right, if it doesn't pick up, you're filming not knowing if this is going to go anywhere else.
Oh, that's welcome to our life.
Yeah. So it's just you get
every
used
time
to
I come home from a job, that could be it, man. You're done.
Right.
Pack
But,
it
like,
in.
if
That's
it's
a tragedy. You get to know people,
Right.
lovely individuals, great actors, and then you never see them again, and your show got canceled in the off season.
Right.
So you never got to say goodbye, other than LOL, text, teardrop.
Broken heart emoji, broken heart emoji,
Yeah.
broken heart emoji,
You know,
poop emoji.
Poop emoji, right? So before we're running out of time, but I did want to hear when you were doing the movie, and there was so much backlash, and they were attaching you guys to the Satanic Panic and all that. What was your reaction to it?
It's a movie,
Right.
folks. No one's running around with a chainsaw killing people. It's a movie that makes you think that, but Ash is a good guy too. So fuck you, man.
Yeah.
So, but there's a great...
Because you were super young, and
I was
like I would just
21.
be like, what are they thinking?
I was 21. Get away from my career, bitches. I'll wreck my own career. I don't need your help.
Right.
There's a silver lining though to all of this. The movie was banned. Got tons and tons and tons of press in the UK. How horrible it was. We've got to ban this. By the way, this is from the English censors. And Evil Dead 2, if anyone has seen that movie, very weird, fantastical movie, violence and this and that. Here's what England cut out of the movie. Ash is unconscious on the floor, and a redneck guy comes up and goes, "You flat-mouthed son of a bitch," boom, and he kicks Ash in the face. And the English censors go, oh, well, you can't kick a man while he's down.
That was it?
Oh, that's...
Did they not notice the flying eyeball?
Oh, that's just not proper. You can swallow an eyeball that flies through the air. No problem, but don't kick a man while it's down. It's not proper. That's not Marcus of Queensberry rules, man.
It's so interesting, though, the attention that
I'm like,
it gave
did you see the rest of the fucking movie?
But it made you guys notorious. And it made people want to see it.
When we fought it in court, and we won because it was bullshit, the thing comes out, everybody in the UK was like, what's this movie we weren't supposed to see? Right. It was the #1 video in the UK in 1983. The Shining was number 8.
Wow. But and that's pretty cool because
thank you, censorship.
Yeah. Well, and the band realizes that at the end of like, oh, us being connected to something like this is actually really lucrative.
Although I don't, I didn't really support that idea. Although, yes, technically you are right. But, I think it was really just about the band being together and getting to make music. And, it's almost, it's comical that people believe that it has something to do with anything else. And playing on that, it's all about perspective. It's looking at a book from the front page and not really knowing how the story is going to end.
We want the right to create crap without interference.
I get that.
I am for not giving false advertisement. The first Evil Dead movie was unrated, but we said producers strongly recommend nobody under 18 watch this movie because I don't want to rope some grandma in there and give her a heart attack. No thanks. Or little Billy.
Especially a grandmother under 18.
Little Billy might have a seizure in the middle of that thing. I mean, come on.
All right, well, I have to wrap you guys, but before that, since we're at SAG and Bruce had mentioned
we got to do this last one.
How did you get your cards?
Go ahead, ladies.
Okay.
How did you get into the union?
I got my SAG card. I was already SAG eligible, and I just moved to LA. And I went on my first audition in LA, which was for CSI, to be a co-star. And I booked the job, but they told me that I had 12 hours to get my SAG card, or I couldn't do it because we were filming 2 days later. So I grabbed my mom and I was like, I need my SAG card. And we drove as fast as physically possible across town to this building in LA, the Wilshire building of SAG, where I believe SAG still is. And we went in there and we stood there for about 6 hours. Well, I kind of danced around. My mother did all the paperwork. But I got my SAG card and I was able to do that episode of CSI.
Nice. All right.
Fantastic.
I got my SAG card. My first job in New York City. It was my first film that I did that no one will have ever seen because it never came out. And I played Vanessa Williams' babysitter. Not Vanessa Williams' babysitter. I wasn't babysitting Vanessa Williams, but I was babysitting her child. Yes. And I was a terrible babysitter. And I got fired in the movie. And now you all know the ending, and you'll never have to see it. So great.
But you got your Screen Actors Guild card.
I got my Screen Actors Guild card.
I was fortunate coming from the city of Detroit. Detroit is a very union town.
Oh, yeah.
Auto workers, Teamsters, IATSE, stage workers, the whole bit. So they used to do these things called industrials.
Yes.
Training.
I remember
they
that.
were training films, only to be seen, in my case, by car salesmen. So I'm doing a training film to train car salesmen how to sell a specific car. So mine was a competition between two salesmen. I was playing a Ford salesman, and the other guy was playing a Chrysler salesman for the Chrysler K car.
Oh.
Massive piece of shit. So we were in 2 boxing rings on this big stage. This is big production, right? And so I'm hired as a sales guy. So the gag is we're sitting in the corner and we're in a suit and a tie, and the guy's giving us a cup of coffee and giving us a pep talk in the corner like you're a boxer. Yeah. Ding! The bell rings. The Ford guy has 2 minutes to come out and pitch his car. All right, we have McPherson strut suspension and blah, 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 blah. And then I go to open the hood, and you see that he fumbles with it a little bit. And there's ring announcers who go, well, looks like he's having a little trouble with that Ford hood. And then, ding, your round is up. Cue the Chrysler guy. So it's a Chrysler training film. He's going to win. He doesn't have any problem with his hood. His shock absorber system is fine. Everything's working great. So he eventually finally won. The shoot took 18 hours, union overtime as an actor. My initiation fee was $637.50, something like that. I made so much overtime, it paid for that, it paid for everything else. And I was like, I could do this. So I got in, and it's footage that is only seen on bootleg shit now. Okay. And I post stuff occasionally because I have 3/4-inch copies of all of it.
Wow.
Yeah, it's fantastic.
You know, and I talk like this because it was like 40 years ago. And I was,
They didn't pay you with a K car.
Thank God. And now, no, the hilarious part, now as a cop, what am I driving? I'm a late 80s piece of shit Chrysler,
Yeah.
Fantastic. Back at it. So,
all right, well, listen,
thank you
guys, thank
I
you.
just you know.
I want to thank all of you for
Thank
being
you
here
for
tonight.
coming.